second section. We're talking about sports, but more specifically, we're talking about the NFL regular season, which just ended. Sorry, I was going to say.
All right, Zino.
Yeah.
A quick grade on the Atlanta Falcons season, and then more specifically, another grade on Arthur Smith's performance.
I would say that we were trending towards a C probably before the Niners game. We were trending towards a C, maybe even a B minus, because honestly, had we won the Niners game, we would have still been on the path to make the playoffs as a 7 seed, which honestly would have been a B minus. I looking at the season as a whole, I would say we are the C minus, which is an improvement because I think the previous 2 seasons were D's or F's. The last one was definitely an F. I would say we're at a C minus. Arthur Smith, I'd give him a C. Reason being, we can't overlook some really boneheaded decisions that led to losses, right? Like, it's one thing to lose because you and the other team just battled it out, and
the team was just one of the teams got the ball last, and the other team was just better that day.
Right, but we can't forget that Washington football team lost. That was boneheaded decisions.
Yeah.
So I'd give him a C. I think there's room for improvement.
Good. All right, I'll go ahead and agree with you on the C, but I will say, funny enough, I think the grade of the team gets boosted to me, even though we won only 3 out of the 4 games in the last part of the season. I would actually say that the 3 out of those 4 games, I would actually give them a B despite the losses. And the reason why is because you went against 3 teams that you lost against 3 winning teams. 2 of those teams are in the playoffs. One of those teams was fighting for the playoffs, right? The New Orleans game, we performed badly. We pooched what is it called? Yeah. But I would say with the Buffalo Bills and the San Francisco 49ers, I think the Falcons were actually fairly impressive until the very end. Like, all those interceptions on at Buffalo, the defense did their job there. And then in San Francisco, we were in the game. It was just, if I'm not mistaken, there was one play that we should have gotten that caused us to not get a touchdown, and we would have been within a touchdown. I think it was a Russell Gage one that maybe there was a call that should have been called, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe
I barely watched that game, but from what I saw, especially watching the highlights afterwards, I don't know. I didn't see too much to be impressed with in the Niners game. I was pretty impressed with the Bills game. I didn't. The Bills was one of those ones I looked at the schedule and chalked up as a loss anyway. Yeah. That's not saying that we shouldn't still go out there and compete, but if we're being realistic, I think they're further ahead in their journey than we are. The Niners is one that I thought we stood a proper chance of winning, and we didn't.
Yeah, but I would say one of the things is that was a great game for Russell Gage to be get some a little bit of wind under his sails in regards to his ability to be a number 1. One thing that I'm very interested in, and real quickly before I was about to jump into a question for you, I'll give Arthur Smith. I'd give him if not a C, maybe a C plus. Okay. You know what? No, I'm gonna give him a B minus. No, the reason why I'll give him a B minus is because I actually think he has, in the most recent memory that I know of, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. In the Matt Ryan era, this was the least talented team I think Matt Ryan has ever been surrounded by. And I don't mean that these guys don't lack talent. It's just that there's a lot of guys who are not superstars or are way too raw to be carrying a team, right?
Compared to the weapons he's had before. I completely agree. Yeah.
So the least talented team, and yet we were able to be in the playoffs in the playoff picture
Yeah.
to the second to last game, really.
Mm-hmm.
The Buffalo Bills eliminated us.
We were eliminated, second to last week, yeah.
And then least talented team that Matt Ryan has ever had, and you matched by midseason, you matched the previous regime's last season's wins. You know what I mean? Like we were at 4-4.
Yeah.
So I would actually give his a B minus just because he was able to, and then you know that now if next year if he does the same stupid mistakes, then it'd be like, all right, we're gonna have to cut our losses. You're not gonna be the guy.
We haven't improved on anything, yeah.
But if he improves enough, and that was I think the problem with Dan Quinn. With Dan Quinn, it was his decision making to me either stayed the same or maybe even digressed. Like it even got worse. So I would say Arthur Smith, I'm going to go ahead. I'm actually going to give him a B minus because of what he did with what he had. And as you stated, almost every single game I could think of, if he had had one or two better decisions, we would have won. Right.
Yeah.
So I definitely would say that, what's it called? I'm going to give him a B minus. But my question that I was going to jump into, and then we can go into the NFL as a whole, because I think me and you were discussing yesterday something that I kind of want to mention. But what's your thoughts on the Calvin Ridley? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I have negative thoughts on the Calvin Ridley situation, but it has nothing to do with the players or the coaches. It has to do with the fans.
Mm-hmm. So what are my thoughts on the Calvin Ridley situation?
Do you think he's coming back?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think he's coming back for a couple of reasons. One, I don't think really that he was having a good time. Now I don't know what the reason for that was. I don't know whether family life in Atlanta just wasn't doing it for him or whatever. I can't speculate. So that's one of the reasons. Two, I think, and I think this is kind of what you're about to get into. I think the response to him being like, I'm going to take some time off or whatever, while, there were, large pockets of people being like, yeah, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health. There were quite a few very vocal people that, kind of made it seem like a weakness to
Right.
to have to need a mental health, break or whatever. Now I get, yes, it was in the middle of the season, and it's a key thing, whatever. He's supposed to be our main guy. I get all that. So maybe the pressure of that got to him, but it certainly didn't help how a good chunk of Atlanta fans reacted to him needing this time off. So
yeah.
I think his time in Atlanta is done, because I feel like he just would be like, nah, why should I, give my all for?
So. Yeah, I definitely agree that the reaction by the fans was trash. Like the reaction and the characters showing out was very trash character of a lot of fans. I will say this though. There's still a good possibility of him coming back, in my opinion. And I would say the only reason that is how the Falcons treated him. Because the Falcons went ahead and gave him the space. There was no speculation. There was no, and then the one thing I like about Arthur Smith, Arthur Smith isn't going to talk crap about his players.
Yeah.
Behind their back or just because of whatever, right? You could tell, because I don't know if you saw his mic'd up. He'll go into their asses in one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't talk about it like, because, and I think a lot of the speculation about how he's not happy, a lot of it's getting fueled by media who is not getting actual answers from Arthur Smith. So they're just coming up with speculations, thinking that silence means something. Because I was telling somebody.
They have to write something.
Right. And I actually think that, if anything, that silence might be an indication that, I don't know this. If I was working at a job and my bosses were making sure to keep it quiet because I'm dealing with mental health issues, right? And if I'm dealing with that and I know that my bosses are not saying anything to anybody, not speculating, basically keeping my business, that would actually give me some respect for them. And I might want to complain for them. So that's what I think, honestly, that might happen with Calvin Ridley. If he comes back, I honestly think it would have 100% to do with Arthur Smith and the Falcons' treatment of him to see if he comes back. Because you know what? Until we know otherwise, I'm going to believe him when he said it was a mental health issue, because I really hate that people I think he's lying. And the reason they think he's lying is because, by the way, there's never been any photographic proof that I know of him being at a Hawks game or him being at I think one of the Bama games or something like that. I've never seen. Have you seen proof of it? Because I haven't seen any proof.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
only
and
heard.
then my thing is, I'm like, it's trash and toxic for you to think that a guy dealing with mental health issues should be locked up in the bathroom, balled up in a corner, just because you don't think he should be trying to, I don't know, fix his mental health by having a good time, by being surrounded around people that are fun. You know what I mean? Being in a situation that's a fun situation. So that's the only reason I think he would come back is honestly Arthur Smith's. It sure as hell is not going to be for the fans' reactions, because honestly, Atlanta Falcon fans, with their reaction to him was pretty trash. Like to the very vocal people who were negative about it. So anyway.
I guess we'll get a good sense of that come April, when we see what offensive weapons the Falcons prioritize. But I think that we probably do need a wide receiver anyway, like even if Ridley comes back. But I guess that remains to be seen.
Yeah, I think we definitely need one. So, but we're gonna have NFL talk, and then maybe we'll do another video of us actually doing doing our podcast while the NFL is going on, because that was like that clip of you us getting interrupted was hilarious from last draft.
You mean the draft? Yeah.
Yeah.